Okay, Webster, I'm going to let you take it out to break in 5 minutes. I've actually got to go work on IT stuff and give some orders here. Take us to break with the Jundullah situation, then we'll come back, finish up with that, then get into the economics, the banking meltdown you predicted a decade ago. Webster Tarpley, good to have you here with us.
Thank you very much, Alex. Let me address this terror attack, since that's our leading issue at the moment. This was a suicide bomb in the province of Baluchistan, that is to say in the southeast of Iran, near the border with Pakistan. And it was claimed by this Jundullah organization, which is simply a CIA MI6 secret army. It's a well-known front. Now, this was a very serious bombing attack. It was an assembly of local and regional notables, as well as some representatives from Tehran. It was a kind of a ceremonial occasion, and it killed about 30 people, according to some accounts, and up to 60 people, according to others. And one of the people killed was the ground forces commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, as well as the commander of the Revolutionary Guard, or Pastaran, in that southeastern corner of Iran. Now, this Jundullah has been around for quite a while, and the Iranians know it well. So the Iranian government immediately blamed the British as well as the U.S., and the State Department spokesman here in Washington came out and said, oh, no, we have nothing to do with that. Now, it's absolutely absurd, as Alex points out, because it's an absolute open secret that the U.S. runs this. I would say the British probably created it and continue to have significant influence, but the money seems to be coming from the U.S., and the targeting probably shared between Washington and London. Just a couple of these mainstream things in a little bit more detail. Back in February 2007, we have the London Daily Telegraph, notoriously close to NATO intelligence. They quote a former high-ranking CIA official saying that it's not a great secret that Jundullah gets its money from the CIA classified budget. That was 2007. They also have a guy called Fred Burton, a former United States State Department counterterrorism official, who says that these attacks that were taking place already then in 2007 are part of U.S. efforts to supply and train Iran's ethnic minorities to destabilize the regime. If that's not enough, we have Brian Ross, ABC Television News. You can see this on TV for free. April 2007, the U.S. is encouraging and advising Jundullah, and it's being run by the U.S. essentially out of bases inside Pakistan, but really not something you can blame on Pakistan when the U.S. and indeed the British are playing such an important role. And then we have Seymour Hersh. These are the famous articles that he wrote in the New Yorker during those years. And Seymour Hersh gets a hold of Robert Baer, the former CIA official of clandestine services, and he says that this is the U.S. paying for this. The U.S. is working now with Sunni fundamentalists. That's the trick with Jundullah. Jundullah are Sunni terrorists of the Salafi persuasion, and the idea is to set up a conflict which is ethnic as well as religious, with them being against the Persian Shiites that are running the government in Tehran.
Keep breaking it down. And from what I've read, there's 4 different groups. Some are Wahhabist connected, others Sunni. Break down all these groups for us and what Iran may do. I mean, imagine constant bombings, blowing up government buildings, blowing up their military, blowing up their police. It's just insane. We'll be right back.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
We are opening up the armory in the info war in T-minus 36 minutes at prisonplanet.tv. If you're not a member, go sign up. It's only $5.95. Download, stream, follow the Republic in super high quality. Download and burn DivX copies to CD. Hit the ground running, folks. We're going to give the globalists a run for their money. Webster, continuing along the line of these staged terror attacks using proxies from the West against the Iranians, openly trying to goad them, a type of false flag, to start responding. Just like they snuck attack Russia on 888 and said Russia did it, and a week later it came out it was all a lie, but they don't care. They just have disdain and contempt for the public that can't, some of them, I guess, find their butt with both hands. But where is this going? What's the reason for this?
Well, one other feature of Baluchistan that's important is that's where you have this very important city of Gwadar, this key strategic port. It's estimated that 40% of the oil tankers in the world go past the port of Gwadar, and the plan has always been to make an oil tanker terminal at Gwadar, so that if you're coming out of Kuwait or Saudi Arabia with a tanker load of oil, you put that into a pipeline that would go up through Pakistan, and that would then get you into China. So the Chinese would have a guaranteed source of oil. You look at Baluchistan. Baluchistan cuts into Afghanistan, the southern part of that. It gives you a big chunk of Pakistan, and it gives you a significant part of Iran. So this is one of the microstates and mini-states that Zbigniew Brzezinski writes about in his books, and which are the goal of the Obama administration. Places like Pashtunistan, that would cut into Pakistan and Afghanistan.
So this has Brzezinski geopolitical designs written all over it.
Absolutely, and it's only part of a pattern. Inside Iran, there are 4 or 5 of these ethnic groups. You got the Baluchis. You've got a significant Arab minority along the Gulf, and that's where you've got your tanker terminal at Karg Island and your Abadan refinery, one of the largest in the world. There's also a Kurdish minority that the CIA has been playing out of Iraq. There's an Azeri minority coming from the northwest.
So clearly they want to knock out the police intelligence bureau there so they can move more terror forces in to further destabilize the area?
Right, and you've also got then this green revolution. You've got the CIA coup faction, right, the rich elitists and desperate housewives of North Tehran, with their leaders Mousavi and Rafsanjani, and they run around chanting death to Russia, death to China. That couldn't be any clearer. If they seized power, they'd cut off the oil to China and make trouble for Russia. So this explains why Ahmadinejad is looking more and more like a traditional military dictator, leaning primarily on Russia. And the U.S. is, interestingly enough, on the side of the mullahs of the most benighted sort when you get into this situation in Tehran. So the idea is to tear Iran apart from several points of view. I do not think that there will be a huge bombing raid on Iran. There are acts of war going on. This was one of them. And these have been going on in these peripheral ethnic areas for quite a while. At the end of it, the Persians themselves would be left in a almost landlocked internal part of the country, Iranistan, with very little oil and very little perspective. So that would
Let me ask you this question, Webster. Then what's the main strategic reason for this? Are they trying to get the Iranians to launch attacks? Is there truth to the Western headlines that the guard heads, the generals, are saying we will counterstrike, or is that lies?
Well, certainly they're going to retaliate if there were a huge bombing raid on Iran and their nuclear facilities. Naturally, they'd retaliate with whatever they had. They could probably cut the tanker traffic through the Straits of Hormuz.
But they're saying they're going to respond to this.
Well, in this case, though, I think it'll be proportional, and what that is, I guess, remains to be seen. The general idea, though, is to weaken Iran and play Iran against Russia and China. Brzezinski's goal is not to have the U.S. at war with Iran. What's the point of that? The point is to get Iran, if possible, either at war or locked in conflict with Russia and China, who are the main geopolitical enemies now, that Obama has come in and replaced the neocons, more or less, with the Brzezinski
Quickly, then, what do you
people.
see happening in Iran? Where's this going?
I think the green coup has failed. I think it'll take a while for the CIA and company to figure that out. But the attempt to overthrow the government is failing, and I do think Ahmadinejad will evolve more and more towards a rather traditional military dictatorship. He's a military man, and I imagine they'll be able to deal with these peripheral terrorists in the relatively brutal way that would be usual.
The Savak methods.
I suppose, yes, the Savak. Savama, Savak.
All right, Webster, Tarpley, stay there. I want to shift gears out of this into the economy, into the plunging dollar, different countries saying they want a debt moratorium. We'll talk about it all.